Now we have to use a lot more safety procedures. We were able to put a lot of safety procedures in place to make sure that we're safe doing our job and that the officers that are doing their examinations and collecting the evidence are also safe doing their job.
So as you just heard, there are more safety procedures being put into place tonight to protect the people who are trying to combat the fentanyl problem. As you've heard, the drug is 50 to 100 times more potent than heroin.
One police department in Arizona is becoming the go-to agency when it comes to analyzing and fighting the opioid epidemic. Javier Soto has that story.
Double gloved, lab coat, eye protection, and most importantly, a full face respirator. These are now the requirements in the Tucson Police Department's crime laboratory while conducting a drug analysis.
You just don't know. I mean, people are putting it in everything, so you just don't know that it's there. You can't see it. It doesn't have an odor, so it's not easy for somebody to detect.
Fentanyl has changed the game. Forensic chemist Megan Green has to be extra cautious at all times now because even exposed to a little of the opioid is dangerous.
It takes only the size of a grain of salt worth of fentanyl to potentially cause an overdose death.
And because it's so deadly, they are now forced to stock a drug to block the effects of opioids, not for drug users, in case one of their own workers accidentally comes in contact.
We're one of the first laboratories to bring in the Narcan or the naloxone for safety reasons.
The Tucson Police Department Crime Lab is now at the forefront in analyzing and fighting opioids, and they help other agencies too.
Other agencies do come to us to use our lab because they can get a 2-hour turnaround to determine whether or not something fentanyl or something is some other substance. Unbelievable adaptability to the problem and focus on it.
But all these safety measures extend into the streets where officers have an even higher chance
possible exposure to fentanyl or something.
of coming across fentanyl.
Every quarter we go out to each of the teams and we restock their narco pouches, we restock their, all those supplies.
Their updated protocols have now successfully saved lives.
We've probably have more than 10 saves at this point since we started distributing naloxone roughly 2 years ago.
One of the major problems, fentanyl is now being found in everything.
Well, we've seen it in cocaine powder. We've seen it in just powders that look like, heroin. It's being sold as heroin. And heroin powder can be pure white, it can be brown, it can be just barely tan. We've also seen it in what originally looks like as black tar heroin.
Fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more potent than heroin, but as it continues to flood the streets, a strong warning for the public.
It's really scary, and the reason it's scary is because people don't knowingly go out and take fentanyl. This isn't a choice they're making. They have substance use disorder, or they think they're taking a pharmaceutical product, and in fact they get poisoned by this poison called fentanyl.
Now, according to Tucson Police, one of their biggest areas of concern is college campuses. They have seen pills which are supposed to be Adderall, a popular drug students use to help them study or focus. Adderall pills laced with fentanyl, and officers say many of the students don't know they're taking an opioid at all.